Welcome back, Jlynn. Last time I interviewed you for the first time was about a month ago, sometime in January. So since that time, you were gracious enough to send me a copy of your CD, the self-titled Violution, which is why we're having you back. Now, as I was talking to Patrick, I love all the great covers you do. People can go on YouTube, and they get like a cool 5-song EP here. And what's cool about it is it's a mixture of your original stuff and some great cover tunes. As I was talking with your producer Patrick before you came on line here, Toxic City, that's a great System of a Down's cover. And what I love about it is it's not a carbon copy of what they did. Obviously, because of your this is a violin and the Vitar and all that. It's very different from what the song was. So let's talk about, first of all, your choice to cover that.
So Toxicity was actually a choice. There's a story behind this. So the quick version is Toxicity was our song choice to go on America's Got Talent, which didn't pan out very well.
Yeah. I can't believe it. Wow.
A long time ago, and it was myself, a drummer named Maytal Cohen, and another violinist from LA, Christine Wu, and we auditioned for America's Got Talent, and we just did that song, and we did the video that after the fact kind of went viral on not just YouTube, but like on all different places all over the internet. That's like when YouTube used to be like the viral thing where like it happened naturally and it wasn't, through.
See, that's the people speaking. That shows you a lot more people know a little more about America's Got Talent. I just have to put that out there.
Yeah, so we chose that to do an audition. Obviously, so I said it didn't pan out well. But we just decided to put it up on YouTube because we were like, well, we think we did a great job. And the video, it just featured 2 violins and drums, headbanging and rocking out, and it wasn't anything that anybody had done at that time. This was before Lindsey Sterling, before 2 cellos, before like anything was in the string world. And it went viral on YouTube, and we weren't a band. We were just like, it was like a one-off thing that we had done.
Yeah.
So but from after that, I decided to delve into hard rock and metal on violin, because I saw how like people really loved it and were taken by it, and I set out to do a whole album of covers, and that's where Patrick comes in. I met Patrick by renting his studio in Los Angeles, Cave Studios, and Glenn Sobel was on drums. Here's Patrick.
Yeah.
Glenn Sobel, I hired him to play drums, and Marty O'Brien on bass, and so you'll see on the CD those are the guys there, although Patrick did play Stairway to Heaven.
I heard your question, Jay, and basically we decided to re-record that song because it was such a sensation on YouTube, and it was such a viral thing. 12 million views back then was like, wow, right?
Yeah.
So we just decided to record it properly and do a studio version of it.
See, I gotta tell people, I urge people to go out and go and get the CD and check it out. It's 5 great tunes, but I also urge you to go check out the YouTube page, because this is just a small taste. I mean, I love the YouTube page. I mean, your numbers are great. And if you just go to the Facebook page, it's just kind of a small piece of what you do. But like I went on the YouTube, I checked out you did a video for like November Rain, Master of Puppets, which I want to ask you about, because Patrick was sharing with me before you came online that really any Metallica song you guys decide to cover, you really got to kind of play it as they did, with just the addition of the violin, because it's very different.
Their arrangements are like, you want to try to do something different, but you just can't, because their riffs are so like, those are the riffs. Yeah. And you don't want to change anything. So I feel like, Metallica is a little bit difficult to get out of the box with that one. So you usually just kind of stay within the realms of what Metallica
but even did. Just adding the violin, the guitar to it, it gives it a different flavor. And like I was telling Patrick, what's interesting to me, if Metallica did a whole album with the symphony a number of years ago, and and even your take like on Master of Puppets is I love what you do there. You can't just you make it your own.
Thank you. Yeah, that was so I have challenged myself by trying to do so many of these guitar solos, and it's making me a better player, because I am learning different ways of doing things on my Vitar as I like that you wouldn't do on a violin. So I'm coming up with these different techniques and things. And it's not that it's kind of just more out of necessity. Like I'm not thinking about it like, oh, well, what if I did this or if I did that? It's kind of like, how do I do that? So I invent some kind of way to make it sound like, okay, that's how he did that. Okay, I'm going to do this on my violin now. And it's really amazing how the violin can be so versatile and can, you know, do these things that they can do guitar.
I gotta be honest. Typically, I don't listen to classical music, but when I discovered you, you know, on Facebook and stuff, and I contacted you the first time, I was just I was embracing the stuff and I was loving it. It was it showed me that, you know, if you open your ears a little, try something, and like even just a Facebook page visually, it got me to go onto the YouTube and check everything out. And I was immediately impressed. And that's what I love about what you're doing is you're bringing classical music and metal together. Like I said, for example, Metallica did it years ago. They did an album with a symphony, but I don't know that they even they attempted it, but I don't know that they were as successful at what you're doing. If you know what I mean. You seem to have a way of just bringing the two worlds together, and I love that.
Yeah.
There's classical, there's metal, and there's fashion. I forgot
the CD.
I forgot how the CD actually opens up, and it is actually. Did you actually check out this thing?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I got it right here.
I mean, what?
Beautiful. And in fact, I gotta ask you. You know, another thing I loved about the CD packaging is a little DVD section. It kind of it's really kind of, I don't know how to say it, kind of like you're really into fashion, I can tell, and I love just watching that part of a DVD and kind of it's a different element, but again, you bring it all together.
Thank you. Yeah. So everything that we do, we incorporate music with fashion and beauty to kind of like, it's our own thing that we do, but it really is kind of melding different worlds together, like you said, of putting classical with metal and rock, and then also bringing in a feminine element to it. But
that's why this is that's why I think you're getting the numbers you are, because you're going to get a certain percent of people that watch that DVD, and they're going to be they are going to be people that are into fashion and maybe know nothing about metal or classical music, but they might get into this because of watching the DVD portion of it, you know.
Yeah.
But it's more for me personally, it's more about confidence. So it's like you're doing it through that music and through that beauty and fashion and all. You're actually infusing confidence into anyone that wants to actually break out of the box.
That's a good way to put it, because you know how many you know, young successful female artists do you hear about who they try to portray like that they're really self-confident, but deep down they're not, and oftentimes, you know, these are people who struggle with their weight, they got weight issues that go up and down or whatever. And you watch this DVD, and that's you're oozing confidence.
Thank you. Well, we all need to feel comfortable in our own skin. And for me, I know that on my instrument, my confidence comes from being comfortable with what I'm doing. And the only way to feel comfortable is to spend time on your instrument. So it's kind of like a self-care of your skill, like putting in the time and the effort to really just feel comfortable and confident. And then you can bring that confidence with you because you feel confident in your skill.
Yeah. And you know, of course, last time I talked to you, you just put out the single, which was a great cover of Steve Vai's Bad Horsey song. And Patrick was sharing with me earlier today, which I had no idea, that you had actually gone into Steve Vai's recording studio. Did you actually meet the man? Let's talk about that experience just in his recording studio.
So his Mothership Studios, that opportunity to me came because Patrick, he called me to put strings on an album for a, how would you call?
So a country artist, good friend of ours,
and folk artist in LA, because I was living in Vegas at the time. So I moved to LA, stayed there for about a year and worked on this record with Patrick, who was producing with.
I was co-producing.
The
album,
drums
on.
Yes, so he was playing drums and I put strings, so violin, viola, and cello, and I even did electric cello, which was wild because that was my first time playing electric cello. And so the mothership was where the whole album was made. So they were renting out the space. So I have not met. Oh, actually, yes, I have. Okay, so Patrick toured with Steve Vai on his Real Illusions tour.
Oh, wow.
Do you want to talk about that for a little bit?
No.
Just quickly, quick breakdown of.
I was just opening for Steve on the Real Illusion tour in
Oh, wow.
2005 as a drummer.
Okay.
Opening for him, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But the thing is that record was done, and I had like few days open with this like amazing API console that actually came from record one, and actually it was Michael McDonald's original console. And
wow.
and I was like, Jennifer, I was like, your Toxicity track. I was like, God bless you all, but it's like it's not recorded properly. It was all DIs, so I'm like, let me reamp some stuff. So basically, the Toxicity on that album, it was all like reamped and all just DIs that then I took into the API console out into Pro Tools and then mixed it.
Yeah, I have to say that when you're recording on your own, it's a very different experience from recording with a producer and somebody who, can guide you through the process and can make your sound go from here to like there. So
but I gotta tell you this story though. I remember if this is Ozzy Osbourne's a producer and Toto, and he worked with Steve Lukather and all. This producer guy comes in as he sees me doing the Toxicity thing. He's like, what is this?
Yeah.
I was like, but he's like, it's a violin. And it's like, oh, and I'm sorry, I'm using your guitar head, to get that sound. And he's like, he just went, this is just crazy.
Yeah, I love that.
Oh my! His name is Tom Fletcher, and man, a producer mixer like that I've never heard before. So to hear it from him, I was like, I like that.
So Patrick, these days you mostly doing production work, or do you still play? You still playing your drums?
No, I'm still.
Yes, he's playing drums on all of the videos that we put out. That I'm doing my electric violin. Patrick's on the drums.
Yeah, just quick little pass for your IG videos.
Yeah.
But
what was it
I'm
like
doing mostly production. It's mostly about Vitar and violin.
Yeah. So I was curious, Jlynn. So you're obviously into classical music, and I know that probably the big chunk of what you grew up on. But like Led Zeppelin and this other stuff you're covering, were you always into that type of metal and music, or did you kind of like, have you heard Led Zeppelin on the radio? I'm assuming. I'm asking because you're so much younger.
I'll be back.
When I grew up,
hey Bob.
When I grew up, it was just very. I was really into my classical studies. So I'm not really sure. I was listening to whatever my mom and dad were listening to on the radio.
Yeah.
And so I remember my mom would listen to like soft rock. The name was like Kixie down in San Diego. And my dad, he liked like smooth jazz and stuff, which I didn't like at all. I was like, no, that's not my thing. But I got into like rock later on. Kind of, I guess, when I went out on my own, like maybe during high school, I got into the whole, I remember R&B was huge during like the 90s. So whatever was going on the radio, I would listen to that. But then later on, I really got into rock and metal as a result of going out on tour in Australia with this band called Metaphor. And that's when I played electric violin on tour for the first time. Like, and that really just gave me like, put me into the whole world of rock and everything. And I am discovering like new music. Like for me, it's new, but to everybody else, it's been around for a long time. So like this last solo that I just recorded and shot and filmed and put up, it was up till like 5:45 last night when I posted it.
Wow.
John Petrucci, Dream Theater. I had never heard Best of Times before, and it was just this incredible solo that John Petrucci played, but this song was written by Mike Portnoy for his father, who had cancer, and it was like a tribute to him before he passed. And so the story behind it was really amazing, but you hear this soaring melody, and it's so like epically beautiful. And I'm biased because I feel like anything that John Petrucci does is just so incredible. I just love his playing, and he's a big musical inspiration for me.
And you seem to be pretty good at like interpreting Randy Rhoads stuff. Like I love the
Oh my God, I love Randy Rhoads. So Randy is like he has taken like classical and fused it into his guitar, and I feel like I'm doing the thing where like I'm taking my classical and fusing in rock. So I'm like Randy's like how do you call it? Like
protege,
the mirror
almost.
opposite of
Protege. Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
yeah. And I heard people that work with him talk over years about, you know, if he'd lived, that his plan was to leave Ozzy's band and kind of have a classical music career. Who knows what became of that? But I also love you did a great version of "Burn" by Deep Purple.
Thank you. That solo was they're all challenging, but you know, you figure out the ways to make it work for you, and I have to figure out where to play it on my instrument to make it work. So I had to play high on one string to get that open string, and
See, I don't know if you know much about I don't know if you know much about Richie Blackmore. He was a guitar player on that originally, but he was also inspired by a lot of neoclassical stuff, which you listen to Deep Purple, you might not hear that, but that's why like later in Rainbow, he was doing a lot more neoclassical style playing.
Very cool. I wanted to do, I think, a cover of Perfect Strangers, but I haven't gotten to it yet. So
there you go. So now, like I said, I love this. My only complaint with it is, which I understand, you want to get something out there. Only 5 songs, so I hope we're working on a full length or at least another EP.
Well, we have a lot of music that we have not released yet. I want to say 1.5 to 2 albums worth. So yes, we don't have any release information yet, but they're waiting to be released, and they're really amazing songs. I mean, if you really like that EP, then get ready because
let me ask you, so you signed a label, or are you releasing this independently?
So when we released that EP DVD, we were independent. Then we were kind of with a label, but it didn't go where we thought it was going to go. So we are independent once again. So.
Well, you know, in a way, that's, you know, it's great if you get a label behind you, maybe you get a little bigger push, a little more money, but it's also good to be able to say you're in control of your own destiny, because, you know, then the money goes back into your pocket, not some rich suit.
Well, it's interesting. You bring up that point. It's not like how it was back in the day. If you had a label that they would back you up in the right way, and you know, obviously back then it was all about like the rock star life and everything like that. There are so many independent artists today, and there are a lot of platforms to be able to put out your music. The only problem is marketing, because a lot of musicians don't have a budget for marketing, and you can't really get your music heard in the right places unless you have some sort of budget. And when you release music, it's like you need to be able to have some kind of push. Otherwise, it's you only get to where your reach is going to go, and maybe on the off chance that somebody likes it and shares it with somebody else, and it can go. But it's difficult.
And I'm assuming that you do most of your own marketing, as far as, I mean, being the one to post everything, because again, you're just a master at it. And I think, you know, if you're able to get those kind of numbers, not just based on your talent, but, you know, you seem to be really great at marketing your stuff. And I think you're a good example. Who's gonna do a better job marketing your stuff or promoting it than you?
Thank you. Yes. There are things changing every day, and you kind of keep up with the trends, or what you think is happening with the trends, but the algorithm is always changing. But I found out that through trial and error for me, if I try to go by what somebody says is the best time to post or the best day to post, and then you constantly think about that and you hound yourself, whatever. If you finish something and you think it's great, just post it, you know? I mean, maybe posting it at like, you know, a random time, maybe in the middle of the night, or like in the middle of the afternoon. You know, if your following sees it and they love it, they're going to share it and it will get out there. And if you think that what you have has merit and it's solid, then you're proud of your work and you've put out that energy. And I feel like that has something to do with it.
I'll be honest, like the first, you know, the first time I kind of learned about, the Violution and who you were, it just randomly stuff comes up on your Facebook feed, and I'm like, wow, what is that? And then I checked it out and I loved it, and I kept going back, and then I reached out to you the first time and you agreed to come on, and I feel like this time getting to know you even better, and you're welcome back, of course, anytime, because we're all about promoting music that we love, and to my ears, you're a huge talent. And Patrick, I think when him and I were discussing before you came on, he really said it best. Like he was telling me, the thing with her music is if you just close your eyes and you listen to the music, you're gonna love it. And then like I told him, okay, yeah, and then you open your eyes and you see, you see her, and then you vision, and you listen to the music, you got the whole package.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, it's funny because sometimes if he plays something and I don't know what he's playing and I listen to it and I don't recognize it right away, I'm like, who's that? What is that, a guitar or is that a violin? And then I realize that it's me sometimes, and I'm like, yes, accomplished.
As funny as this may sound, he made a good point, because like, let's say he was taking your CD around people to listen to, or, just hands them a CD, doesn't even hand them a package. And they have no idea it's a female violinist or Vitar, whatever you want to call it. And oh yeah, it's great stuff. And then maybe the minute they hear it's a female, oh okay, I didn't know that. But again, let your ears be the judge for you. That's the true test to me. Yeah.
Absolutely. And so a lot of people, they listen to it and they don't even realize that there aren't any guitars in the music. It's just all violin, electric violin, run through my amp modeler.
And the last thing I want to ask you before I let you go is, do you get a chance to go out and play live much, or you think that'll happen more once the full-length album comes out?
Yes. So obviously, I would love to be on tour. I do some live performances in and around town. Aerosmith wrapped up in December. So we'll see if we have something coming up with them again soon or not. It's a little quiet on that front right now, but I know Joe Perry is going out on his own with his own band, and then Hollywood Vampires, they have a tour going on. We did, I don't know if I talked about it with you last time, but I contracted Journey's Symphony Orchestra. Oh, wow. That we had here in Las Vegas, a 25-piece orchestra. And so we did some performances with them at the Coliseum, and then they came back and we played again at Resorts World. So they're on tour now, and I'm not sure when they finish, but I'm hoping that they come back, because we're ready, and I got our music and everybody's itching to play again. So
well, I'd love to have you back talk about that. But it was great talking again, Jlynn. And the video interview we just did should be go about a week or two. I will let you guys know the minute it does, and thank Patrick too. And we enjoyed talking to you guys. And like I said, you're welcome back anytime. You have a great
Thank you. And I want to say, as far as the here it is. If anybody wants to get their own copy of Violution, you can get it on our website, the Violution, violution.com/shop, and that's where you can get it's a CD DVD. So
not only is she talented and beautiful, but she's a great marketing genius, as we said, knows how to market her stuff. We love that. Take care, Jlynn, and we will be in touch. I'd love to have you back. Take care. Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you for having me. Bye-bye.